Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode of getting the M3 up to snuff, well, we're just fixing the car because it's broken. We are doing a caliper rebuild. So if you watched the track video last week, we rebuilt the caliper on the other side because it was sticking really badly. So now we're just doing this side to keep it even, and then we're gonna go rebleed all the brakes. And we also have a special guest today. Well, my buddy Connor over there. He's got the old half Caliper M3, my old car. So we're gonna do the brakes on his too, bleed them. So let's go ahead and get started. So up until this point, I'm gonna assume you don't need the wheel off with the 17. Those of you who don't know, get the lug bolts, break them before you go ahead and put the car in the air so your wheels will actually come off. And these are, I believe, a 6, 7, or 8 Allen key bit. I already forgot. Oh, look at that, the 7. I'm so smart. Oh yeah, also these little dust boots that come off the back, you'll see them. I showed it in the other brake tutorial video, so I'm not gonna do a bunch of recap. Just watch that if you need a recap. Or there are like 1,000 different videos on YouTube, so we're just gonna go ahead and get the caliper off. Because you don't wanna, okay, there we go.
Especially on both like that.
Smack my hand on the suspension part. Now we get the sliding pins out. Obviously, your caliper is just gonna slide out like so. Grab our brake pads, put them somewhere where they're not gonna get stepped on, or I mean, it's fine, it's a brake pad, like it's just good practice. So now with our caliper out, usually I'd highly recommend that you put this somewhere, like don't let it hang by the brake line. Since I have stainless steel lines, as long as it's not pinched, which it's not, you can let it hang safely, but don't just drop it, like, set it down. And then what we're gonna do to get the old piston out is Connor's gonna hop in the car with the ignition on, and then he's gonna slowly pump the brakes. And what's gonna happen is the old piston is just gonna kind of pop out, and then we'll be able to grab it and, show you what we're gonna do next for the actual caliper rebuild. What do you have there?
So put this.
Oh, alright.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like about the right size.
That is perfect, actually.
Okay, cool.
That is a way better solution, courtesy of Connor. He came prepared, I didn't. So if we come over here, oh yeah, also that's how I got the alarm to work. If you don't watch my Instagram, keep the little thing down. So what we have here is a sandwich bag. And what we're gonna do to help prevent, because when we eventually take caliper apart, a lot of brake fluid is just gonna start coming out, so we're gonna take the caliper off. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna twist this off. And to help prevent a lot of fluid from escaping, that is a little bit overfilled, we're gonna put a plastic bag over this, and then we're going to slip it back on. And that is gonna help prevent a lot of the air from getting in the system. Some's gonna get it anyway, because you do have to, anytime you're doing brake work, the brake hydraulics, you do have to go all the way around all four, which is why we're gonna do that anyway, even though all the fluid's new, to make sure you get all the air out of the lines. But that's just gonna kind of help some of it, because we are gonna have to do like a kind of preliminary bleed once we get all that back together. So there isn't just a bunch of air sitting in line, because you don't want to reintroduce air in the system. So let's go ahead and get the caliper piston off, and then we're gonna pull the caliper off of the brake line. Oh yeah, there we go. Just keep doing that. Yeah, just keep pumping it.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Is that good speed?
Yeah, it's good speed, just coming out slowly. Look at that, guys. Our old piston that somebody decided to paint red, which is... If you're gonna paint your calipers, please tape off the piston. That's just... Come on, man. There we go. Alright, you're good.
Alright.
And now brake fluid's gonna pour out. Alright, cool. That was more than I expected. Okay, well, alright, just stop. Turn the car off.
That's why we have the cup.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so now we got a little piston out. You can see there's a little bit of rust in here. This one wasn't too bad. The other side was, you guys didn't really see it, but it was way worse than this. The boot was just destroyed. So now we got our old piston out. We're gonna set that down. And then these seals in here, actually what we're gonna do next is we're gonna disconnect this from the brake line. So we're gonna grab, I think that's a 13, but let me go grab it real quick and double check. Oh, there we go.
Owie. That hurt this hand.
Yeah, now your knuckles are getting greasy too. This is why you bring a friend that's more stronger than you to do work on your car. This is now our brake caliper. You can see old fluid everywhere. So what we're gonna do now, there are two seals on here. So there's the outer guy, which is just gonna come off because it's kind of being held in by the piston. And then there's an inner seal right here, which we're gonna have to grab a pick to get out. But you're gonna pull this inner seal out. You'll see it. It's like a groove that goes around. And then what we're gonna do after that is we're gonna clean out the burr here. This area of all the rust or any corrosion, which actually looking at it, it looks pretty clean. I see a little bit, so it will kind of brush around here, but overall this is not too bad. Usually these are totally toast. I think this probably could have gone another couple of years, but let's go get to it. Now there's dirty seal. Okay, that seen better days. Okay everyone, so now we got the caliper all cleaned out. Make sure to clean it when you're doing this. Clean out the burrs here, because this is actually where the most corrosion was on this, because the inner barrel here was pretty clean. So now we have our new piston. Oh, and just for your part numbers, here is the front piston and your front seals. If you're looking at like FCP or something, let's tear this open. Okay, so in here we have our two new seals. This is the outer one that you saw us pull out earlier. This is the inner one. So for the inner one, you're gonna wanna grab some brake grease, which I have here, or brake fluid, it really doesn't matter, whatever you have. You just want some kind of lubricant. Grab a tiny amount of this. Actually, probably use a bit more. I'm gonna grab a bit more. And you're gonna lube this guy up, nice and good. The key here is to make sure everything is lubed, because the more lube you have, the easier everything's gonna go together, and the more time you will save later. So then, as I showed you earlier, I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick this up, but there's the inner groove. This is gonna slide in there. And kind of grab an end, try to get in there, and then slowly feed it up. And then for the piston here, which I'm gonna clean out a little bit first. All right, so for the piston, you're gonna want to, again, grab some brake grease. You're gonna grease the heck out of this thing. I mean, literally just grease it all. You want as much grease as you can. And this isn't that big of a deal because, I mean, it's supposed to slide anyway. This is actually going to help it slide easier if you use something good like the Silglide brake grease, which I'll keep touting every single time I use it, how amazing Silglide is. It'll keep water out and it will never wear away, or it'll take a very long time to wear away. So now with that like that, we're gonna lube up the seal as well. Like you did before, your seal is directional, so you want the lip here to go down because you want it to fold. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna feed this onto the brake piston here. All right, so some people like to go from the top. We went from the bottom. What you wanna make sure of is that no part of the gasket is folded, which it is currently. You want it to stretch out because you need the little lip at the bottom. Oh, it just came off again.
Oh, I see. Oh,
look at that. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
come on.
Oh. Get in. All right, that's in. All right, guys, we got it in. Our seal was actually really bad. Our seal was backwards. I'm gonna link the reference video we used below, so you can go watch it. There's gonna be a lot left out in here, so you guys can get a better understanding of how this works, because we're no professionals. But now that we got this in, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go reattach it to the brake line, and then we're gonna set the new pads in here, and we're gonna, you know, re-bleed this guy. All right, so we were rebleeding the front, and I totally stupidly was telling him to do the wrong thing, so we let a bunch of air into the system. Connor's going to go do something right now, so what I'm gonna do while I'm waiting for him to get back is I'm gonna go ahead and throw the wheel on here, and then I'm gonna jack up this corner because I let air into the system, into the master cylinder. We're gonna have to start from the back to the front. We wanna go in order from furthest away from the master cylinder to the closest. So this is the furthest. We'll start with passenger rear, then go on to driver's rear. Then we will go back onto this corner, the passenger front. And then we will finish up with the driver's front because we did do that caliper, and I'm sure there's a little bit of air in those lines. So let's start doing it. Well guys, it is currently a lot later in the day. As you can see, it is currently the evening. And that is because it took us way too many hours bleed the brakes. I'm gonna show you what we did. The rears went really smooth, and then we got to the fronts and we just kept bleeding and bleeding. Nothing was happening. And for the longest time, we couldn't figure out what it was. And then we came in here to the brake reservoir. If you come over here, I don't know if you're gonna see it, but there's a second hole in there. So something I didn't actually know, and Connor didn't either, is this reservoir is split into two pieces. This half here is for the rear brakes, and the rear half, which you can't actually really see, there's just a little access port, is for the front brakes. So we kept filling it up, right? But I wasn't topping it off enough, and I was bleeding the back half dry. So the front brakes are constantly just being cycled without any fluid in it, and we just kept getting air, and we weren't getting anything else out of it. So that was a little bit of a brain fart. Never doing that again. We will bleed his brakes another day. I owe him a bottle of brake fluid because we had to use his. But now that it's all buttoned back up and we got the caliper rebuilt, now both the fronts are new. The rears actually looked a bit better than the fronts did. I have those kits. We might do those on a different day. I kind of just want to leave it for now until it becomes an issue. We're gonna go ahead and close all this up, and then we're gonna go hop on the road, do a little test drive, make sure it all runs well, it brakes smooth, whatever. And then another day, you'll see more of his car down the line. So don't worry, everyone. Usually not a proponent for driving with one hand, but we were just going around a neighborhood real quick. Gonna make sure that the brakes work. We're going about 15 right now. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit. That seemed to felt pretty good. Try it again. Do it a little more. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. So, for those of you who've been keeping up with the car, now we have both of the front calipers rebuilt, and once again, new brake fluid. We, I guess, gave the thing a thorough brake flush, which if there was a bunch of old crap in there, I guess is good, but now we have the brakes all sorted out. Definitely next thing, oops, trying to bog down on me there a little bit. Next thing on the list is, it's not on right now, but there was a check engine light. It was P1189, but I now know what the issue is, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. If you want to see more getting this M3 up to snuff and fixing all the problems with a 242,000 mile M3, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below if you have any questions, and stay tuned. See you in the next one, everyone.